I'm Lauren Greci, and you are listening to the Lifestyle with Lauren podcast, the show where we chat all the things: life, motherhood, Jesus, food, beauty, and wellness, and so much more. So grab a hot cup of coffee, kick back, and relax with us. I hope that you find joy, laughter, and encouragement today and every day. Thanks for being here. Hey friends, and welcome to the Lifestyle with Lauren podcast. I'm so glad that you're here for my conversation with Darlene Taylor. She is a wife, a mom. Her family just recently moved from California to Hawaii, and we talk all the things about moving to Hawaii and how they were originally wanting to move to Bali and how COVID kind of put a wrench in things. But it's pretty amazing to see how they are just thriving and loving Hawaii life. Darlene is also the owner of Sweaty Mommy, a fitness and health mindset lifestyle group where she shares her wealth of knowledge with her 15 years of experience as a health professional, fitness professional. She is a certified pre and postnatal fitness professional as well, a certified vegan lifestyle coach, an author, and 5 times nationally qualified bikini competitor. So she has quite the list of accomplishments for this young mom. I can't wait for you to listen to my conversation with Darlene. So let's hop right in. Hey friends, thank you so much for joining us today and being on the Lifestyle with Lauren podcast. I am so excited for y'all to have this wonderful conversation with Darlene Taylor. Hey Darlene, thank you so much for being on the Lifestyle with Lauren podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So before we get started, I want you to take a moment and just introduce yourself to all the listeners.
Let's see. Well, I'm a mom of one only, and I've been in the fitness industry for 17 years, and I am a vegan, and so is my whole family. And I help moms create that balanced lifestyle in their lives that doesn't feel like that their life is revolved with only health and fitness and actually managing their time better.
Good. That is awesome. Such amazing, great goals that I think all of us moms struggle with for sure. Mm-hmm. I think once we have babies, it's kind of hyper focused on them and we often get neglected. Are you into the Enneagram?
The Enneagram? No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, you'll have to look it up. It's kind of like if you've heard of the 5 love languages, this is kind of how I reference it. So the 5 love languages, it's, how you express your love to your partner. Well, the Enneagram is your personality traits, like how you are motivated, how you are driven. And a 2 which is what I am, is very much into giving and serving. So then there in turn, I often neglect myself. I'm always the last one to eat. I take care of everybody else first. I sometimes don't eat lunch until 3:00 because I'm just going and just taking care of everything else. And I'm like, wait, I haven't eaten.
Yeah.
So
that is definitely a common thing actually with the moms I work with. And I think what I've noticed, it's a pattern, is like we're like the natural mama bears. Like somehow our instinct is like, we got to protect our cubs. We got to protect our family. And that's like something I've been really working on with the moms, is trying to like reverse that mindset. Like obviously we still should take care of them because that's our role, but like learning how to like understand that we have to take ourselves first. Like if you think about in the airplane, when the mask comes down, they always tell you like put it on yourself first before the kid. And at first I was like, why? Like I want to put my kid first, but it's like if you don't take care of yourself first, then you can't take care of your kid. And I'm like, oh, that's like a cool analogy to realize like we do have to take care of ourselves, because if we're not functioning right, we don't get our stuff going on, we're like all over the place, our energy is bad, then everything bounces off to our family and our kids. And so we have to take care of ourselves.
Absolutely. And I experienced that firsthand. I was very much into just pumping all of my attention and my energy into both of my boys. And then my youngest, when he was 3 months old, he had a really bad stint in the hospital, and stress, anxieties just completely overwhelmed me. So much so that I knew better. I was just drinking coffee and drinking Starbucks and running on the treadmill and then eating dinner. Like I didn't eat all day, but just down caffeine and sugar just to get through. And I absolutely tore up my body, of course. I learned the hard way that I have to take care of myself. And if I don't, because I was sick, I was exhausted before I even got out of bed. And I was like, I can't take care of these boys when I'm exhausted and I'm sick. I have to get better myself and take much better care of myself. Mm-hmm. Okay, so funny too, this is our first time meeting. We kind of said that a second ago. So my husband and your husband knew each other through the BMX world, right?
Yeah. I know, it's such a crazy small world.
I know, it's so funny. So I became friends with your husband because Stephen, and we actually met him a few years ago. Well, I met him. My husband obviously already knew him, but we flew out to California and I got to meet your husband before I think he had met you. So it's kind of fun to meet him for the first time. And it's just a shame that I haven't been able to meet you face to face yet. So you talked about Hawaii. So you originally wanted to move to Bali because y'all were you loved the area and loved the culture and all of that. So then COVID hit and y'all couldn't go. So then what happened? Y'all were just sitting and were like, we don't want to be, because y'all were in California. You were just like, we don't want to be here anymore. We need to make a move. How did y'all land on Hawaii? And how did that whole conversation go down?
So let's see, kind of like wind back just a tad. Before we decided Bali, we were like talking about what we wanted our life to look like. And we had this like part, like we wanted to work, remote, but also at the same time, like still be able to like stop when we wanted to and just enjoy the weather. And we always thought about originally we thought like, oh, let's do Hawaii. But then we're like, then something about Bali just hit us. And we're like, well, if we move to Bali for a year and then move to Hawaii, let's do that. So then later we were 5 days. So anyways, fast forward, then we found our place in Bali. We paid our first month rent. We sold 80% of our stuff. We bought our one-way ticket and we were about 5 days away and Bali closed its borders. The whole lockdown happened and we're like, we can't do this because we also wanted someone to rent. So anyways, we still wanted to move to Bali and we still had a chance because that place, the guy that owned the house reached out to us like, if they're supposed to open up in September 11th. And he's like, hey, if they open up, are you planning to move? And we're like, yes, definitely. And we were planning to move in like October 1st was going to be our game plan. But then Bali decided not to open its borders in August. And we were just like always having that 1 foot out the door, 1 foot in. We're like, we love where we live. Like, being vegan, it had so much opportunities. Like we had a great life that we created during the COVID and made the best out of it. But it wasn't like exactly what we wanted in our life. So we're just like, well, what can we, like, we were so tired of waiting and wondering when can we do it? So then we just thought about Hawaii and I had friends that lived here and he had a friend that lived here because we live in Oahu. And we're just like, what about Hawaii? The border, they just stopped their lockdown as of October. We're like, literally October 1st, we decided like, let's do Hawaii. Let's go December 1st. Like we were planning to do that. And we started, as soon as we decided we're going to move, we like the next day checked with the dog, like how that process worked. Because originally we were thinking like, oh, maybe we'll like go to Hawaii, just check it out, then come back. But then we're like, the whole COVID testing would be just so much extra. So we're like, why not we just like move, get an Airbnb, just stay there for a month or two, and then find our place while we're there. Mm-hmm. So we did the whole process with the dog, because that's a long, tedious little parts you have to do, because they're very, they're rabies free over here. So if you don't want to quarantine your dog for like 90 days and you want to do it like on the day of arrival, like no quarantine, then you have to follow these steps. So we did it and we booked our one-way ticket. December 1st was the plan, but then we had this like small feeling like scared it was going to happen again, like the whole Bali situation. Mm-hmm. And then later, all of a sudden he just like decided like, what if we just moved earlier? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, we could just maybe come early. I'm like, yeah, let me go check flights. And all of a sudden I noticed our flight was not there anymore. So they canceled our flight December 1st without telling us. And good thing that he had this like thought about moving. So I called, they're like, oh yeah, they canceled. There's no direct flight to LA to Hawaii anymore. I researched, I found a place in San Diego straight to Hawaii. So we're like, all right, let's just move our flight as soon as possible. We called and we booked it November 12th. And then later they called us back that day. They're like, we have to do November 13th because they're doing only one dog per plane this time because of whole COVID. We're like, oh my gosh, yes, Friday the 13th, whatever, let's do it. So we decided to book it. So we like literally the day we found out, that was like 2 weeks before the move.
Oh my gosh.
The decision. So we're like, all right, let's do this. We were already prepared with Bali. And I think that's why like it was easier to move because we already were mentally prepared. Like we purged a lot of our stuff already prior to the move to Bali. And then also when we traveled around the world, we purged a lot too. So I think it made it easier. And yeah, here we are.
Wow. That is a huge whirlwind. And I can only imagine that was probably, those 2 weeks were pretty crazy.
Yeah. And then prior to the move, we had a checklist of like everything we wanted in our apartment, like apartment or whatever. We were like, we want to be close to Whole Foods, we want to be close to the gym. We wanted a big balcony with a view. We did all this list and we thought this was impossible. And especially, well, the part that was impossible was like the monthly rent that we wanted.
Yeah.
But we got everything that we put in the list. Like as soon as we got this townhouse, I guess it's called, it's like everything off the checklist, like everything we wanted, the view, the square footage, we wanted a 3-bedroom, we wanted 2 baths, like we got everything that we put down. The only thing we didn't get was a garage, but we do have 2 parking spots with a cover.
Mm-hmm. That's so fun.
And then obviously the rent, like it was like $1,000 more than we wanted to, and realistically we knew that wasn't going to happen, but we got everything.
That is awesome. That is so fun.
Yeah.
So then how was transitioning for your daughter? Because how old is your daughter now?
She'll be 4 and 2 months.
Okay.
And it's actually really great. Like she loves it. The school, she's in school right now and she is obsessed with the school. Like she loves it. She gets excited when it's the weekend. She's upset because she wants to be at school. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. Like she doesn't want to hang out with us. But at the same time, it's so good because realizing she was going to a school in California, and I feel like she's done so well with school. Like so I could see a huge progress. But every time I picked her up, and I don't know if it was just the time of the day, but you could tell like she was like not herself. Like she was more depressed, more tantrum, more like, you know how they say sometimes they're distressed of something. So I feel like there's something that was up. And then when we came here, lots of like little secrets came out of her schooling and telling me how she went to time out or something because she didn't nap or what. There's little things like that. And I'm like, I don't know. So I guess like here, how she's enjoying it. The kids are amazing. The teachers are amazing. Like she's learning so much. Like, so I feel like it's a good transition. Like she's enjoying it a lot. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And then y'all get a beautiful beach and hiking opportunities galore too.
Yeah, we take advantage of our date days. Like we make a plan like once a month to have a date day because we don't have families. So schooling is, we pay for schooling. So we're like, let's use that as an opportunity to go on a date, have one-on-one, time together. And it's really nice. And we went for our first hike together since before she was born, which was like 2017. I was 36 weeks pregnant hiking. So that was like the last time we hiked by ourselves. Me being that pregnant was probably like 2016.
Yeah.
So it's a long time.
Yeah, no kidding. Would you do me a favor? Would you subscribe to the show by clicking that subscribe button wherever you're listening? It makes a huge difference for the Lifestyle with Lauren community. I would also love for you to share this show with a friend. I know some of you found this show because a friend recommended it to you. So thank you for listening and being here, subscribing, liking, and sharing, and showing all of your love and support. Thank you. Music was provided for the show by Matt Bowen, and I'm your host, Lauren Greci. Now let's jump back into the conversation. I'm a morning person. That's when I thrive, is I wake up at 5 a.m. and I just get going with the day before the kids get up. I feel like I can get so much done. And then by the end of the day, it's like I'm exhausted. Like I've homeschooled, I've worked, and, I've done, cooking and cleaning and all the things that, every mom has to do. So then by the end of the day, I can't even imagine like trying to do anything else after the kids go to bed. It's just
I totally agree. Cause I would have a mom, like some moms, like one of my mom was like, yeah, I'm going to start like working out at 7 p.m. And one was like 9 p.m. I'm like, why? I'm like, that's like my lazy time. Like, that's when I want to do nothing. Like, so like one of them, you know, they'll tell me like, oh, you know, my kids are like up and so I have to wait. I'm like, no, I just work around it. So like, basically it's kind of cool because I turned that shift around. Like, oh my gosh, you're right. I do it in the morning. I feel more energized. I feel more productive. And I feel like I'm rewarding myself when they go to bed. I'm not have to think about, I have to work out. I'm like, exactly. Cause I'm the same way. I'm a morning person. Like I like to wake up 2 hours before everyone. So I wake up at 4:30. And again, it's not like it was easy to wake up that early, but I'm motivated to wake up because I love, like how you said, like, I just love that alone time. I love getting myself like in my morning routine. I love focusing on my work. And then because afternoon, I'm just not like, I'm burnt out, like, or, you know, I feel like I just want to clock out. And that's like the vision I want my life to look like is I want to be done by like 2 or 1 o'clock and just be done for the day. I don't want to be working all day. And because my parents they worked many hours and I would just basically wanted the opposite of that. And that's why like I thrive so much of like having this balanced lifestyle because I want to have that quality time with my daughter, with my husband, myself, and obviously enjoy where I live now. You know what I mean? I don't want to be like stuck working while I live in paradise. So
yeah, no kidding. So then let's talk about your job. So you are the founder, right, of Sweaty Mommy. So you have created this. When did you create this? About right after your daughter was born?
Yeah, so I had this vision before she was ever born. I had this vision in 2006. So I was working at the mall, working at, you know, being an Abercrombie manager. And I just saw a bunch of moms working out inside the mall before the mall opened. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Like, I want to do this. And I was still a trainer and I was still single. I did not want to have any kids, but for some reason, I just loved it. And I thought that was just the most coolest thing in the world. And that has been my mission. So I've always trained moms my whole life before mom. But then as soon as I became a mom, that day I was just like, I've got to do this. I keep saying it. And then I was working out with her when she was like a baby. And she was like, maybe like, I don't know. I think I was like 6 weeks postpartum and I was just doing simple meal. I'm like, man, I'm such a sweaty mommy. And then I'm like, ding, that's the name. I'm going to start it. So I decided to talk to my old clients. I'm like, that she just had her baby that was like 3 weeks before me. And I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this like in person, or at the time it was at the beach. So it was an in-person thing. And I'm like thinking about doing this mommy class, like, let's, you know, seeing if you want to join me. I want to figure this out to see if I could, you know, be able to do this. Cause I've trained lots of moms and I've done a lot of kid fitness classes, but at the same time, I wasn't sure, like, and I am prenatal and postnatal certified. So I have like all the experience, but at the same time, like with a group of people, I'm like, I've never done like too much. So we did that. And then I'm like, all right, I love this. Started my thing. And my daughter, she was like 2 months old, and I had a bunch of moms working at the beach with the strollers, doing a variety of classes, and it was just so fun. And I felt like it was a great way to prevent that postpartum depression because I have no family here. The moms felt great because we all had our kids around the same age, and it was just cool over the years of how much bond it was and how much they've enjoyed it, and just for them getting out of the house. And then, you know, COVID happened, and then I immediately turned it into a virtual class Zoom. And it was kind of worked out too, because before the whole lockdown happened, it was raining here in California at the time. It was exactly a year ago. It's crazy to think about it. Like literally exactly a year ago. Because I have these Facebook reminders and I'm like, oh my gosh, like here's me doing this virtual. So we did this virtual and it was like a good transition and the moms loved it. And it's so cool because they've worked out their whole lockdown time and they've lost even more weight. They've lost between 20 to 50 pounds. And it was just really cool. They never got that whole like COVID-19 or whatever they call it, like the freshman, you know how they do the freshman 19 or something. So it's like, no one got that. And it was just like a cool way to do that. But then just recently in January, I decided to transition at 100% no virtual and just do it more of a 12-week program. And it's mostly for like, basically kind of like a coaching too. So my goal is for the moms to be like having that balanced lifestyle, because that's like the thing I've realized a lot of moms have been avoiding. It's like sometimes they feel like it has to be perfect. They feel like that you have to work out 5 days a week. They feel like they have to follow their meal plans 100%. And I wanted them to like get out of that head. It doesn't have to be perfect. Because I used to be that. I used to be a fitness competitor, and I knew what it was like to work out 5 to 7 days a week, feeling burnt out, stressed. And then when you finally stop doing it, you like gain it all back, maybe more. And then later on, I felt like I had to do always like a show back to back, because I didn't want to be that. And then later on, I finally found that balance when I got pregnant. And I changed my mindset, and I was fine with it. But I realized a lot of moms are not in that mindset where I'm at, because I've been ahead, and I'm like, didn't understand it. And then I realized like, oh, they need more guidance. They need more like understanding the balance is not just about nutrition and fitness. It's also the mindset. Like, why are they having those limited beliefs, and why are they self-sabotaging? Because I've had that in the past. And once you like realize why, it's like everything changes. And it's really cool. Like, the new shift that I've been doing, it's like the mom's transformation. It's like just instantly that 1 week, just their mindset. Like before they're all negative talk. And it's just like, it's just really cool. Like we just changed different things, like the environment at the house, maybe just they had to purge some stuff out and feeling more lighter and vibrant. Some maybe just haven't seen family in a long time and friends since the COVID. So it's like, I can't believe we didn't think about doing virtual FaceTime with my friends. Like we used to see each other. So just like little tiny shifts, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of like cool what just something minor makes a huge difference. And that attitude, the mood's better. And yeah.
Cool. So can you walk us through your 12-week program? Kind of, I know, just tell us a little bit more about it and what it kind of entails.
Yeah. So when we start, you have weekly coaching calls and nutrition guidance and workout programs. So we first start off with the first like one-on-one call, like how we, on Zoom, and we just set up a game plan. I give them like this like workbook. It's called like a life balance workbook. And it's like, looks like a wheel, and they choose categories like of their lives that they need to work on, or maybe they are like, is it relationships, environment, finances, career, just things like that. And then basically I have them rate their life, like 1 to 10, like how they feel in this department. And if their life looks like a flat tire, or just something like just kind of like mush, like not a full circle, then we focus on maybe the lowest top 3 that for them, like maybe the 1 or 2 or 3, so whatever. And then we set up a game plan, like what action steps can we do to make it better? And so it's like more than just the workouts. So that's like part of one of it. And it's really cool because you're like, wow, I didn't expect this thing. Like one of my moms, she had an ex, like, he took the car. She was paying double payments of cars. And she was just like stressed because, it's like, a lot, 2 car payment bills that she's not driving, can't get a hold of him. And I'm like, okay, let's set up a game plan. Let's get the car back by the end of the month. And she got the car back. And it's cool because now she's like, I get to drive this car and save the miles on this. And then, the next month, the plan is to return the car. So it's like a little action step, And so those are little things. And then the workouts are also like, they're slowly increasing different phases. So if you've never worked out, pretend like never, or maybe you just finally got, released by the OB or whatever it is, we start small by 5 minutes for the first week, 10 minutes, and everyone's different. So that's why the calls are nice, because we customize really where you're at the level. But if you're like a way beginner, we're like, all right, all we're doing is just starting small, 5 minutes, and then choose how many days a week do you want to work out? Because the goal is at the end of the 12 weeks, you want to make it feel like you're brushing your teeth. Like it's just so natural. You don't think twice about it. Same thing or like TMI, to the bathroom number 2. Like you don't say, I don't got time to go to the bathroom. You got to go, right? So that's like how you want your life to feel like. It's like, it's a no-brainer. And that's how it is. And same thing with the nutrition, just a guidance. Like we start small. There's no strict meal plan that you follow. You choose, like, you create your lifestyle. So we kind of like, I give them guidance, like how to read the labels, how to shop. We do a little like spring cleaning in the pantry, that stuff. They start from scratch. They could choose a couple, maybe 1 or 2 recipes for the week, just try something new. And we slowly adapt. Basically, the goal is for them to create their own meal plan that feels right for them. No crazy, like 3 hours at the in the kitchen, meal prepping.
Right.
They're all easy recipes, or they can figure out. I give them like ideas of like how to keep it simple, because the goal is to keep it simple. Don't make it complicated. Life shouldn't be complicated. It just should be. You should just be thriving and just
Right. And these
feeling
are all
aligned.
moms, and these are
Yeah,
all moms that need
exactly.
it to be simple too. So
Yeah. Because like for me, I used to do all these complicated recipes
yeah.
and things like that. But it was once I became a mom, and my husband's always about meal prepping. We always did. But then we're like, man, we just want to keep it simple. So we're like, let's just do this, and then let's enjoy going out to eat. Let's have fun. And that's another thing. It's like I still encourage, like, it's okay to having like a cheat meal, or free meal, or whatever you guys want to call it, like, because we're human and we can't just restrict ourselves and like completely take it out of our lives. If we want something, we should still enjoy it and be human, but we just have to learn how to prioritize it better, have a balanced mindset, how to really understand what a balance really means, because sometimes they're like, it's all about the balance, or they're like, oh yeah, I'm working out, I'm just going to burn off these calories. And I don't want that mindset either. It should be just kind of easy to say yes and no on certain things. And
we had a couple of questions. If you could answer, what is you kind of mentioned it just a second ago, but someone asked, what is the first workout a new mom can do? So once she has her baby and the doctor says you're clear, you can go work out, what would you recommend her doing?
Okay, so I want to kind of go over about this whole clear thing. And thank you for asking this question, because there's so much misconception on postpartum fitness, because once the OB says you're cleared, moms think they could just do whatever they used to do. They think they could start running, they could start doing crunches. They feel like this is what you have to do to lose weight. And they don't realize that the OB should like basically kind of recommend like starting the pelvic floor TVA healing, because when you think about it, your stomach is stretched out and it's expanded. Your organs has been moved around. So if you think about crunching, you're pushing those organs down. So there's lots of like prolapse, which is meaning like organs coming out and certain different parts. You can have a pelvic dysfunction, diastasis recti, things like that. And then another thing is you have to realize is a balloon. Like, think about if you blow up a fresh balloon and you deflate it, it looks not the same. So if you start putting impact, like running, your pelvic has been also shifted, expanded. So you have to think about, you have to strengthen that area, because I'll be honest, like I ran like 2 months after, and I had my femur jammed up my pelvic, twisted, and I was having a lot of hip spasm. So I realized like this is stuff too that we've never got taught in prenatal, postnatal like certifications. So then I went more deeper and like going with a pelvic floor PT and really learning more, because what I'm going to teach moms, I want them to do it right. So we focus on pelvic floor TVA breathing, and it's just super simple. And I have them start like other moms, just tell them even before you're clear, you could start doing this. I have it in my Facebook group, just like teaching on how to do this, showing videos. And that's like the main thing to start, is just pelvic floor TVA breathing, start walking and just start moving. That's all you have to do, really. Like I do it till this day just because I love it. And when I'm washing my face or brushing my teeth, but that's like the main thing. Just don't do running, don't do crunches, don't do twisting. That's like the main no-nos. And just focus the pelvic floor breathing workout. Be patient, because I know we all want to get that body back right away. But if you think about it, like, it took 9 months to grow a human. Like, you're not going to lose a weight in 1 week, a day. Like, if you think about when you actually showed your pregnancy bump, like usually it's around 16 to 18 weeks. Mine was like 18 weeks. So if you think about 18 weeks, think about 18 weeks postpartum. Don't expect too much of a fast result. But as long as if you're listening to your body, eating, that's another thing. Don't starve yourself and focus on eating and nutrients, because that's so important, because you'll definitely lose a lot of weight just eating properly. I ate a lot, and basically my body kept telling me like it was craving for certain things, and it was just because it was telling me like, hey, you need more vitamin C in your body. Hey, you need more iron. And it's kind of cool how your body kind of like tells you, like, just by your cravings. Obviously, if you're craving donuts, it does not mean that you're liking a donut, vitamin donuts. Yeah. But
that's good. Nice. Okay. So then we had another question talking about food. What does your typical food day look like? So someone wants to know kind of, what is your breakfast, snacks, lunch, dinner? What does it all look like in a day?
All right. Well, it's kind of boring now because it's always the same. my breakfast, most important meal of the day, is because that's like your gas of your car, that's your fuel. It's oatmeal, chia seeds, hemp, and flax seeds. So we usually have this like combo. And then peanut butter with the ingredient only peanuts, no sugar. So you have to avoid those jiffies. And banana, but we mash it. And blueberries, strawberries, and that is all. And then water, and then boom, that's our meal. Nice. And so that's our breakfast. And I've been having that for the past, I don't know how many years, 5 years.
Really?
We don't get sick of it. Yeah, it's really good. And our daughter loves it. So she has it every day too. Even when we traveled around the world, like we brought like oatmeal, a mixture of chia, flax, and hemp seeds, because we want to make sure at least we have that always. And that one is actually really great for like breastfeeding, postpartum. Like, so for me, I had no problem with the milk supplies. For lunch, it changes. Our lunch depends on our mood, but lately we've been a big fan of air fried tofu. So we got an air fryer with the tofu. I just put nutritional yeast, onion powder, garlic, paprika, pepper, sea salt, and then, or no, pink salt, and then shake it up, and then I put it in the air fryer and let that bake. And then with it, during that time, we have sweet potatoes, broccoli, and mushrooms, hummus, and avocado. So that's pretty much our lunch right now. And we're enjoying it because it somehow has a good balanced palate. Like it has a little bit of the sweet, it has a little bit spice because I add like crushed pepper, like a little spice of that. So it has like a good balance for us, and it's very filling. And for dinner, we've been having this for many years. We make an Asian bowl. So we kind of change it up a bunch of times. So if you ever follow my husband's Instagram, he has a story of how we make it. Our goal is like having a rainbow. Like we always look at it like we should always look like it's a rainbow, because if you have all the rainbow on your plate, that means you have all the vitamins.
Nice.
I think that's pretty much. So that's roughly. And then, we do like our sweets. So once in a while we'll have a vegan ice cream and our vegan cookies and vegan cinnamon rolls, we like to splurge once in a while. So,
nice. And then what about snacks? Do you eat snacks throughout the day?
Yes, not as much as I used to. And that's a weird thing. Like ever since my whole like mindset with the competition was like, I have to eat. Like I have food anxiety. It got to a point like I don't snack as much as I used to, but I always have an apple before lunch. And we've been, once in a while I'll have from Costco, those mushrooms, the shiitake mushroom chips. So that's been kind of really good. But I always put like in a little bowl and sprinkle. So I make sure I don't because they're addicting. Like once you pop, you can't stop. So it's like, I always have to make sure I portion it by sprinkle it in the bowl. And then we used to snack on plantain chips when we had Trader Joe's, but now since we live in Hawaii, there isn't. But our friend did come visit us yesterday, so I had a little request, and I told her to bring me our plantain chips. So we have that, and I think that's pretty much really snacking. And once in a while, bars like Lara bars version.
So if you could give any mom, new mom, experienced mom, no matter what age they are, what would be one tip you would give them? They're wanting to start eating clean, eating healthier, they want to work out. What would be your 1 or 2 tips that you would tell them right out the gate?
Not to be like selling myself, but really like with anybody, not just me, but like I would say I would invest in the coach, just because it would prevent you all the trials and error of like trying, because I know there's so many free like stuff out there, Instagram and YouTube, and they're all great. But one, are they a mom? Do they understand the mom body? Because if you're following a program that's designed for like teenagers or before mom, it could cause more damage than good. And 2 is like, you'll get the accountability. It's someone that supports, that understands the mom life, because, life is not normal. Things happen. We have those days, and you have to understand, like, it's okay to have those. Cause I've had coaches, it's like, why aren't you doing this? You have to be 100%. And it's like understanding the fine balance of like how to manage your time better. So I would say, definitely investing in a good quality coach that understands you and also fits your personality too, because some don't fit it. Like I may not fit like everybody, because some may need that strict drill sergeant, some of these other things, but you have to figure out that area. The second tip is like starting small. Don't go all hard to the walls, like being 100% following a meal plan, a workout, because you're going to burn out. And it's just normal. Like you may not burn out at first, but once you're done, it's like you're going to bounce back and then you're going to look for the next. So you basically want to create a life, like either whether you're following a diet, which number one, I hate diets, but whether you're following a certain meal plan or a certain workout, you want to ask yourself, like, is this something I could see myself for the rest of my life? Like, obviously, as we get older, things change. Like, I know my style has changed so much. Like, I'm all about the balance, like stretching, mobility, and core. Like, I'm all about that. But you have to ask yourself, like, is this going to burn me out down to the road? Start small, work your way up, baby steps. Think about as your kid when they're growing up. Like, they didn't start walking since they're born. Think about the small progress, the small, the tummy time, like their head coming up. That's a small progress. Think about them rolling over. That's a small progress. Think about the first time they stood up, the first step. Think about their little baby steps. Think about your step is the same thing. Even though we are grown up and we're moms, doesn't mean we're not growing. We're still, every day you should ask yourself, like, be better than you were yesterday. Baby steps. One foot forward to the other. I don't know. There's so many analogies you could go look at it. So
I love it. That is such good tips. Okay. Well, before we close, I asked my guests the same 3 questions. What are you reading? What are you loving? And what is making you laugh? So what are you reading?
So I'm reading a new book, Dying to Be a Good Mother. And I love her. Like, I follow her on podcasts, and then just hearing that she's having a book and just knowing her story, like, she's all about the balanced lifestyle. And I'm like, this is exactly what I preach, that I relate to her so much so I started reading this book. I'm only on chapter 2 because the book just literally released like last week and I just got it.
Is the author?
Heather Chauvin is her name.
Okay. I
can message. Yeah, she just released it. Like, it literally launched March 8th. Her podcast is called Moms in Control. And she's just like a good balanced lifestyle about, like, I don't know, just something about her. I'm drawn to it. I think her story, but I don't want to get all into it. Yeah. And then what was the second question?
What are you reading? What are you loving? What are you loving right now? And it could be anything.
I am loving the balanced lifestyle because I realized when I was working, because I'm always about, like, I got my fitness down, nutrition, but I realized, like, when I really clocked in, like, added the hours from 4:30 to later, I'm like working like more than a nurse would do. And I realized, like, wow, because in my mindset, it's like my whole parents are immigrants, are always about work, work, work. And I realized, like, I felt like I always have to be working, and realized, like, I am allowed to relax. So I'm loving the balanced lifestyle. I'm loving that whole mindset shift of, like, really, like, saying no and just only following my 3 top 3s. And then once I'm done, I'm done. Like, I'm not looking for more like I used to. So that's what I'm loving, is that. And then obviously, like, the snorkeling part, the balance. And then what makes me laugh is, I know it's maybe cliche because for all moms, but my daughter, she makes me laugh all the time. I could just, like, think about her just now, and I just think about, like, what she did yesterday, and it makes me laugh. She always, like, makes me laugh. It's just something about, kids, like, when they develop, it's, like, so crazy of how much they've grown, and they surprise me. Like, I mean, she surprises me every day. Like, she's such a little grown woman, and she's not even 4. It's so sad. I'm not gonna lie, I'm, like, already depressed about her growing up, but
I know. They grow up so fast too. It is, in those first 5-6 years, it's just a whirlwind, because I mean, you think about just in the first year of their life, they are not able to do anything. And then they're walking. It's like, just that growth is just crazy. But yeah,
they're already acting like teenagers, and I'm not ready for it. And I'm like, we call her a 3-nager. First it was a 2-nager, then a 3-nager. Now I'm like, she's doing a 4-nager. I'm like, oh my gosh, I thought I had to wait till 13. I had till 13, but I didn't know it was going to be, like, earlier.
Yeah.
So I know. It makes me sad.
Oh, well, Darlene, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to chat with me. And I know that you have been a huge encouragement to a lot of moms. I do want you to share real quick, what is the best way that people could find you and reach out to you? Social media, website, what?
Definitely Instagram, Darlene Health. So just keep it simple, DARLENE Health. And you can find me all my stuff, and I share lots of like fun tips, postpartum tips, mom tips, and sometimes just show snippets of workouts that you guys can follow. And yeah, that's the best way. Or on my free Facebook group, Sweaty Mommy Fam. So I have lots of free training guides in there, like I mentioned earlier about the postpartum fitness or the postpartum breathing, and time management's on there, time blocking, brain dumping, all that stuff that makes me in control and that I help moms. So I have lots of little free training there and lots of different recipes in there. And yeah, so those two main things are like the main key points that will help you guys out.
Awesome. Well, I will put those in the show notes. Well, thank you, Darlene, for your time today. It was so much fun.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Lifestyle with Lauren podcast. If you liked what you heard today, please subscribe, comment, leave a review, and share with your friends. Thank you so much. Music was created for the show by Matt Bowen, and I'm your host, Lauren Greci. I'll be back here next week with another wonderful conversation. Thanks for listening today. Bye, friends.